Well, on the East Coast, it's good morning, good people. But we're doing this for Pacific Coast time. And my guest today is Mr. Vikter Duplaix. Um, Mr. Vikter Duplaix has basically produced, written, sung on, DJ'd your favorite party. He's been on some of your favorite records. What's up, Montreal? And if you've never been to a Vikter Duplaix party, you owe yourself an experience. And he's very influential, and he has his reach is global. And I just can't wait to talk to him and just learn a little bit about what inspires him. Montreal, how you doing? Thank you guys for tuning in. This is an odd time for me, but like I said, Mr. Duplaix is on the West Coast, so I'm trying to accommodate his schedule. He just joined the room. Yeah, he's dope, right? And there he is.
Hey, hey, hey.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Everything is good. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. Cannot complain. First off, I want to thank you for your time and your energy for doing this for me.
No
I've been
problem.
wanting to, I've been wanting to talk to you for quite some time. We had met some time ago through Carvin Hagen's. It's been years ago, but I'm sure you
Uh-huh.
probably don't remember that. Um, we were at the Fillmore, and I think you did a set at the Fillmore.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was just telling the people if they've never been to a Victor Duplaix party, they're missing out in life.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate the positivity of that statement.
Oh, okay. All right. So what I want to do is start back in the beginning because people that I admire and I look up to, I'm curious as to what ingredients went into making them great, right? So you grew up in the Philadelphia area,
hmm
and in the years of your first artistic inspirations, what was going on with you? What were you inspired by?
Uh, I don't have one of those stories.
Oh, great. It's different.
Yeah, I just grew up in music. Never really, I've never really been without it. So it's either from my mom or family members, music school, so on and so forth. So there wasn't like oh, I aspired to be Michael Jackson. I don't have one of those. It's just I just kind of I've been a free-spirited person since day one, and I mean I just followed that wherever it was going to take me in life.
So what went into that? Like being a free spirit in Philadelphia, you know what it's already baked in music scene and what people expected of what's coming out of Philadelphia. So it sounds to me like you were going against the already at a young age.
Uh, well, I mean, it was a little different in Philly because uh, music was everywhere, but it's not like it is now, where there's no music in the schools, there's no after-school programs. It wasn't like that. It was very much like the gangsters also knew how to play music because they had a jazz band in the all the local middle schools and high schools, and
Right.
they would do battles, not battles, but like they would go to the civic center 2 or 3 times a year, and all the bands would pull up together and practice and play and show off. The jazz bands, the marching bands, the choirs. There are a lot of gospel choirs. There were cats on the corner who were killers singing doo-wop. And we're not even from the doo-wop era, but that was the kind of the energy of, you know, people were romantic. Killers were romantic in the hood. It wasn't this manufactured concept of what hardcore dangerous blackness is now. It
Mm-hmm.
had nothing to do. It really had nothing to do with today at all.
Right.
So the arts, you took school trips to go to the art museum. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you had a lot of other programs that encourage you to be creative and artistic, even in neighborhood schools. So from that point of view, the world has changed a lot.
Mm.
Certain things have gotten cut as city budgets change and all that kind of stuff. So there, and then also hip hop didn't have a name. There was no such thing as hip hop. It's just people playing records. And when scratching started to come in, okay, we're cutting and scratching, but there was no hip hop. It was just like skating rinks and block parties. And they
Right.
were all over the city. It wasn't just once in a while. It'd be like every Saturday. You would have that culture. The sound system culture existed. As a young person, I would see the block parties. I wasn't really understanding what it was, but I loved it. But I think an even more important place for people was the skating rink culture in
Yeah.
Philly. The Great Skate, 69th Street. I forget the one up north uh, on the boulevard. But there were different places, and those DJs there. Todd One was really pivotal in showing us music. He can play any style of music. He was also really connected with the record stores in downtown Philly,
Mm-hmm.
Sound of Market, and all those kinds of stores like that. They played a big part in it too, because you could go into a store and someone would have a conversation with you and then pull out a bunch of records for you to go listen to. So
Yeah.
you could be introduced to things by conversation, and it wasn't just, you know, I don't even know how it's happening right now. So before, it was very different.
Yeah. I remember being a kid and catching, because I'm from Jersey. I would catch the train over and go to Sound of Market, and you would actually catch a DJ doing a set inside the
Hmm.
store. Yeah. I miss that place.
Yeah, they would literally play on Tuesdays. That was record day.
Mm-hmm.
So they would play the new records, and once they got to know you, they would have 100 records for you.
Mm-hmm.
Vic, check these out. They would play a lot of them in the record store so you could hear how they sounded on the system.
Yeah.
But you would you would have to you start to trust the relationship with the record store cats, and that was a big part of the culture too.
What age were you when you started DJing?
Around 11 or so, 11 and
Okay.
12.
And like you were
Yeah,
officially doing parties and stuff at that age?
around 12. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What was
Hmm.
that like? Like being that young and actually learning that you had control over the crowd like that.
Um, I mean, some of it was not necessarily. I wasn't conscious of what was happening because all we really wanted to do was just go into somebody's basement and cut and scratch and play the records, right? But when you're seven, eight guys, I didn't have equipment, so I was always over my friends' cribs, the ones who had equipment, and it ended up being I was the best DJ. So when we would have little parties or whatever, I would end up doing it because they were like, he's the best one in the neighborhood, and it kind of evolved like that, more of as DJ culture and basement party culture was happening in Philly. I just happened to be the kid who was the best out of my little circle,
Hmm.
Southwest Philly, 58th Street, around that area. And then I started to hang with the older kids, with Jaddy Jeff and those guys, and that's when things sort of uh, changed. Along with just the emerging culture in general, we all wanted to be Cosmic Kev.
Right.
We all wanted to be Grandmaster Nell. Those were the two DJs that everybody wanted to be. I don't care what anybody says about Philly history. Those two guys were the ones we aspired to be like.
Hmm.
um, there was WKDU, Master J, Master K. We heard them. They were really good. They were really influential. And um, Grand Wizard Rasheen had pirate radio in West Philly. And oh well, Lady B. but not as
Right.
a technical DJ, just her presence, right? That she
Right.
was the queen of it. But in terms of the street DJ culture, you got to put Cosmic Kev and Grandmaster Nell in a very special category because they made the template for everybody else to try to follow.
True. True. When did you start doing? Did you did radio spots, right?
Radio spots?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
In Philadelphia, you made it to that level while you were still in Philly to do radio spots, like to guest on radio stations.
Oh, actually, I never did that, but it was because at the time, Jazzy Jeff and I were building a touch of jazz, and Tower 99 called us to do those spots,
Mm-hmm.
the mix shows they called them.
Mm-hmm.
And because of where Jeff was in relations to his releases on Jive, we turned it down because we thought it might be a conflict of interest, not knowing
Gotcha.
where that kind of stuff was going. So it ended up going to DJ Ran,
Mm.
who was a high school buddy of mine as well.
Wow. So what would you consider your big break to be?
I don't know if there was one big break because I sort of have creative ADD, so I would do things, and if I liked it, I would stay for a second, but if I didn't, I would move, even if we were being successful with it.
Mm.
Um, there were just a lot of different types of moments because I was the one who was not beholden to genres before that was even popular, you know? Okay, I came from Southwest Philly, but it doesn't mean I want to do whatever that thing is only. Okay,
Right.
so let me learn something else, and I move into the international space. And then at the same time, I'm very influential in building the kind of neo soul culture in the city. But I wasn't completely in love with that either. So then I start traveling more internationally and being involved with the house music scene and things like that. And it just so happens that I touch a lot of different things, and I'm able to do well in all those spaces. So I just feel fortunate to have a long career.
Talk to me about those years of stepping into that the neo soul space and that whole movement that was happening during that time. Because I know you were an intricate instrument in all of that. Talk to me about that time period a little bit.
Well, the term neo soul, most of us hate.
Mm-hmm.
It it's really something that Kedar Massenberg tried to create so he could control that the new artist singing soul. It has really nothing to do with anything that we were doing because we didn't even really relate to dashikis and trying to look like Donny Hathaway. That wasn't a Philly thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was something that they were trying to maximize on because they had a little bit of success with Badu being kind of really abstract and all that. So let's make this whole neo soul category. We were just making soul music
Right.
in the lineage of Gamble and Huff, Teddy Pendergrass, Phyllis Hyman. These are all the people that were around us
Mm-hmm.
and that were teaching us how to be songwriters and how to aspire to have uh, record companies and the importance of songwriting, the importance of having a certain structure to your record making.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were doing. So we were producing. If anything, we aspired to be Teddy Riley and Babyface and Jam and Lewis. That's what Jeff and I were trying to do with a production company. Gamble was always saying, forget the company though, forget the production company. You should be a record label.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, the market was always talking about Teddy Riley being a producer and having a production company and getting
Right.
$30 million, right? So we're just going with what we're hearing about, not really
Right.
understanding if a label's going to give somebody $30 million to produce, how much are they going to give you to own a label? I'm more to be a partner. We didn't understand. It wasn't
Right.
that clear. You know what I mean? So we put a lot of emphasis on creating records, which to be honest is a very specific skill. Learning how to write songs, knowing how to produce artists, knowing how to deliver on time. So that's kind of what we were doing, and that's where we start to bring in people like James Poyser, Dre Vidal, Carbon, and Ivan. They came under the vision that we had. We were teaching everybody how to be self-sustaining producers and songwriters. Not taking credit for anyone's talent because your talent is yours, but
Right.
just the structure on how to move and how to deliver. And we took some bumps because I think a lot of times we were stronger creatively than we were business wise,
Mm-hmm.
and that sometimes has a tricky effect on the creative process in itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't on our side. It wasn't coming from a shady space. It's more just not being uh, knowledgeable enough to understand how to, in some cases, how to protect ourselves from other executives and lawyers and so on. Those types of things makes it very difficult for you as young people to have clean business.
Yeah. Do you have any of those horror stories of being, shucked by the man early on?
By the man who? By your friends? Who's
Well,
the man?
yeah, that can fall under it too, because a lot of people when they're young and they're starting out in the business and they don't have the wherewithal or the education or legal, you wind up in a pit. Do you have any of those stories?
Of course, I mean I have a lot of stories. I mean, I was basically running a touch of jazz at like 19 years old. So what do you think the chances of me making the best decisions? It was complicated. You also have to think this. A lot of what we did wrong was because we're so young. We're running 99% off of adrenaline and emotion. Maybe it's an equal amount of emotion and adrenaline, right?
Hmm.
Your knowledge level is low because you're not even really old enough to drive or to vote or whatever or to buy liquor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're starting young, and people are starting to put millions of dollars in your face. You know, in the midst of this, somehow one of the homies becomes the most famous person on earth.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, everybody and their grandmother is coming to us at that point in time, friend or foe.
Right.
And we're still kids. I think Jeff might have been at the beginning of that 24, 25. I'm
Mm.
like 18, 19, something like that. So you know, and nobody's showing us the way. The way the industry worked back in the day was kind of like you got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You have to suffer before you can thrive. So the old heads, even though they were giving us information, they also had their hands in our pockets a bit at the same time. So the answer to your question is, yeah, I have them, but I have a lot of them, a lot of those stories.
I can only imagine, 'cause back then, and being that young, and like you said, the talent that you had on your roster was crazy.
Yeah.
What was a definitive turn for you that you knew that I'm sure you always knew that you had something great because you wouldn't continue to do what you were doing. But what was the thing that broke out for you that moment that you knew that okay, this ship is taking off?
Uh, well, it was kind of like we were working hard, just focused 16, 17, 18 hours a day, right?
Mm,
We were thinking more about learning how to be masters than we were about even money. That wasn't even the focal point. It was
right.
just how good are we getting? How does this sound in comparison to what's on the radio and all those kinds of things? Then we start to get high level artists to come to the city. The Eric Benet's, James was working with Lauryn Hill, Badu through the Roots. We start to work with these artists, and their records start to come out, and we start to hear or see the response to the music through the eyes of the public. Yeah.
Mm,
So that gives you a sense of, oh, you like what we do. Okay, cool. And before that, we had worked with Teddy Pendergrass, and we had done a lot of things that were in the homie network.
right,
But as we were starting to branch out into the world, then it's like, you know, I can do more than get a co-production on a Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince album, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's a very homegrown thing, right? It's unclear if that's the homie or if that's because you're good.
right.
And then people start to come into town, and we were picking and choosing who we wanted to work with. Our style was to bring an artist into the studio and work with them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and to make as many songs as we could. I regret that style a little bit. We should have been more like, here's our 20 songs. Do you like them or not? You know,
Mm,
it was cool, but it was exhausting. And it also didn't guarantee that your records made the album because
right,
9 times out of 10, they were just pacifying the artist because they really wanted Babyface or Pharrell. You know what I mean? They were because they liked the song already.
right.
And then for me on the underground side, uh, having a lot of traction in multiple countries, Germany, England, France, Italy, so on and so forth, and starting to get booked for DJ gigs and small performances. It all kind of happened around the same time, you know. It was
Wow,
all happening, mid 90s to late 90s, then into the 2000s with the Soulquarians and all that stuff was
right.
when the world was like, oh my God, Philly, this new Philly thing.
Yeah.
So
I heard you say something on the order of you realized that you didn't want to just be a producer, you wanted to also be, the one out in front. You just didn't want to help people make a hit record. You also wanted to create hit records of your own. Talk to me about that shift.
when we were studying with Gamble and Huff, James and I basically lived with Gamble and Huff for 2 years. James Poyser, Chauncey Childs, our business partner,
Hmm.
we studied every aspect of Philly International. They opened up all the contracts, the historical contracts, uh, and Gamble was kind of like my surrogate dad or whatever, and he would call me every morning to make sure I was up with him, Fajr prayer. I'm not a practicing Muslim, but he would call me, I'm gonna see you in a couple hours. You can't be up all night, I mean, you can't sleep all day. I know you were out late, but so what? Get to the studio. So he was trying to drill us to be on a different level in terms
Right.
of the industry. And one of the things that he would do is he and Huff both would challenge us to outdo them. That was his
Mm,
vibe. So they were pretty much retired, but at the same time they were hella cocky because at that time they still had number one everything, right? But then Gamble would say to me sometimes he would look at Lou Rawls or one of those guys, and he said, "Man, if I had only done one of those songs, I'd be in Vegas right now, making 250 grand a night. I just need to do one.
wow.
I wrote all those songs. I could have just say one for myself." So he was like, "You got to get in there and start cutting,
Mm,
start recording, find yourself, find your voice, find your point of view. It's specific to you, and bet on yourself first
hmm.
before you bet on anyone else because with these artists, you never know. It could be like Teddy. Look what happened to Teddy. You can have an argument. Somebody's husband can kick in. Suddenly, oh, my wife can't come in the studio. These are real things that happen in the music business, and you put your heart and soul into a situation, which I had a couple of those like that too at major labels where you spend a year, 2 years on a project and it gets dropped.
Yeah.
Even if you make $500,000, that sounds like a lot of money. But if it were to come out, you might have made 10.
True.
So they block your blessings, and then you can't get your 2 years back. Your 2 years are gone. So my between Gamble and my family saying, man, hey man, we love the fact that you and James and Chauncey have this studio, but there are no windows here. How much of your life are you going to spend in this box?
Mm.
And I was like, damn, I never saw it that way. And that started to make me want to explore that more. And then
Mm-hmm.
my frustration with the music business, with everybody being so shady, that was it.
Yeah.
It was too much, too much. Everything was a hustle. Everything is. I'd rather be dealing with crack dudes. At least you know where they stand. These industry cats were tricky, super super tricky.
Yeah.
And that kind of just pushed me over the edge.
Got
I
you.
just wish I hadn't been so drastic because I did like the $50,000 checks. They were good.
What project were you working on when you received your first check? What was the project? You like the first big one?
uh, Teddy Pendergrass's album, A Little More Magic, I think it was called.
Okay.
When he had his comeback after his accident, I
Mm-hmm.
produced one of those songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you, sir, are one of the creators and parents of Kiss and Grind.
Hmm.
If then I'm talking to the people. If they've never been to a Kiss and Grind event, you have to treat yourself. It's like one of the best things. And like it's so dope. It was on the show Insecure. Like it's a own entity on its own. Tell me about the creation of that.
Well, it's a hybrid of a Philly basement party and kind of like an LA music industry event. Because I was traveling all over the world and I'm making this music. I'm working with the Jills and Musics and all these people. But in
Hmm.
LA, that music wasn't existing. It didn't exist in the nightlife space. It was as if it wasn't happening outside of performances
Right.
and the Temple Bar and stuff like that. There was no place for you to go and listen to album cuts from Usher, Fela, some dance hall, all the deeper side of black music. It just didn't exist in LA. Outside of a handful of very underground parties, legendary parties like Juju and a couple others that they supported me throughout the years, it
Hmm.
was pretty much non-existent. Firecracker was a cool thing back in the day in Chinatown. Um, and we just wanted to create a home for people to just vibe out,
Right.
just come through. No pressure. There was no door cover. It was nothing. It's just like a text message. There's no flyer. Just come through. And then as it started to get popular, me and the other creator, Garth Trinidad, we were trying to figure out a name for it. Like, what is it? What's it going to be? Because it's getting bigger. It kept getting bigger and bigger. It didn't even have a name. We were just like, party on Friday, 10 to 5. It was late night and all this kind of stuff. It was in an art gallery on top of that. So we were talking about Badusi and because it was like sweaty and real
Hmm.
raw.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, back in the day, we used to always ask after the house party, did you get a little kiss and grind? Yeah, let's call it that. And he's like, what do you mean? What's a yeah, we said, did you get a KG last night? You get a K and G? At least you got a K and G. And he laughed, and I was like, that's it. There you go, kiss and grind. And that's how I was born. The party was born from a name point of view. But the music was important. Uh, Originally, Garth was a very influential DJ on a station called KCRW in Los Angeles, which before the internet popped, that was the source for music in the city, for fly
Mm.
music. Hands down, the DJs helped my career. They helped break Jill Scott. They did so much for the global music scene. An amazing group of music lovers. And we pulled in DJ Rashida, who at that time was kind of making the scenes on the local underground.
Hmm.
Uh, and we were listening to her music and her mixtapes. We're like, hey, this young lady, she knows music of all kinds, and she would be a great mix for the two of us. And she was the original creative partner, so it was the three of us just constantly pumping out vibes, and we had an anti-hip hop policy for a minute because there was so much violence related to hip hop at the time
Right.
that we were like, it's not really worth it. Plus, we were music lovers, so we wanted to hear more than hip hop. We wanted to really let the melodies take people places, and that was the
Yeah.
magic of the night.
And at that time, a lot of us that were, still holding on to our R&B, music vibes, we didn't have a place to go because hip hop was basically taking over all the clubs. So there was no place
Yeah,
to go to actually hear that music. And I remember because I used to be, I was a hip hop dancer back in the day. And I remember being introduced to the whole house music scene and, the fact that you would get those, white label remixes of your favorite R&B cut and it would be a totally different song and you wouldn't hear it
yeah,
anywhere else except in those spaces. And
yeah.
so that's when I started to gravitate toward going to the house clubs and being a part of that whole circuit, and it taught me a lot. Like it opened up a whole new world of entertainment because
Yeah.
it wasn't something that existed on the hip hop side. A lot of hip hop people didn't even know about it.
Well, I think it's a bit more London, New York,
Hmm.
Philly, DC, Toronto, Chicago. It's kind of the crux of it. Maybe San Francisco. Those places had an open approach to music, and I think it's also because of the design of the cities. They're tighter.
Yeah.
You're coming in contact with people more. LA has a kind of a mainstream approach to everything, and I think it's because it's really a giant suburb. It's not really the kind of thing where you can go down the street and bump into somebody cool on your block. It's
Right.
not like that at all. Even in the city, it's just not like that. So the the thing that was magical about what we did with Kiss and Grind is because of the perfect cocktail of me and Garth, and then later Rashida having somewhat of an entertainer profile, we attracted a lot of different kinds of people who then spread the word, quickly because it's like everybody that was coming to our parties was one degree of separation from someone famous or was about to become famous. So
Right.
everybody from Ava to Idris to the list is long and all. It really really long, like crazy long. Almost everybody who's anybody in Hollywood right now grew up with us. A lot of them
Yeah.
met their wives there, and they weren't necessarily who they are now. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was like a year or two before the thing kicked off.
Right.
So we're kind of a part of the culture of the legendary Black Hollywood. We're part of the ecosystem that got them to where they are.
And with LA being the way that you say that it is, I could see that picking up quickly and being like a wildfire, just simply because you didn't have that. There was a void of it, and then you gave them exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, and remember too, at that time they didn't let non-mainstream stuff in nightclubs on Friday and Saturday, so they were
Right.
always putting you on a Tuesday night, and I was like, who parties on Tuesday night? Who on earth voluntarily parties on Tuesday night? Who does that? Nobody does that,
Yeah,
right? That's some.
and your average person doesn't realize like your popular club. It's also a part of the music industry. It's designed to get those artists art out that they want to sell. And it's kind of
Right.
designed that way so that on the popular night, they play the music that they want you to consume. The music that they want you to buy from the latest artists that you see the videos of. Some people don't understand that relationship with the music industry and the club scene.
Exactly. Look, I don't want to be like the rest of the week is not. important. It is. But I'm just
Hmm.
saying, when you go to a city on a Saturday night and you can't go and hear any black music, what? What do you mean? And that's literally what LA was. They were putting people on Tuesdays and later Sunday. Sunday became kind of a legendary black night because of the Jerry Lorenzo and Javier with JL Nights. But
Mm.
before that happened, there was nothing popping really. I mean, maybe one thing, and the whole city can't go to one thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true.
So that, but now, I mean, there are a bunch of baby kissing grinds and things that they don't even realize that they are the beneficiary of the doors we kicked in because it wasn't easy, especially dealing with club owners and things like that. They definitely didn't want us.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
They wanted those dollars though when they saw how many heads were coming in.
Which unfortunately is still the case. Um, but you know, until we have ownership of those places, it may always be the case. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, you're well traveled. You've been around the world. Which one of your favorite cities to party in?
Well, London
Yeah.
is off top. Johannesburg, if you want, if you want to be around a bunch of people who breathe music, I say they don't celebrate, they rejoice every time some music is playing.
Wow.
Every single time. It's the most unbelievable thing to experience as a performer, as a DJ, or just sitting at a bar. There's nothing like South Africans.
Mm.
Nothing. I mean, there are places that have energy. Portugal has a lot of energy. I mean, Germans love music too. They just don't have rhythm. But with South Africans, when they hear music, they are singing beats that you never heard before. They add harmonies. It's the most amazing experience.
Wow.
I tell every artist, if you've never had a show in South Africa, you haven't lived.
Wow. That's very
And that's
interesting.
a and that's a fact, Jack. I'll
Who are
double
some of the
down on
people
that.
that inspire you? Like what artists do you listen to that give you life?
I like a lot of different artists. It's funny. I was just driving from Vegas today, and I was about to start doing some soul mixes from the perspective of someone who made soul. And I
Hmm.
was listening to Dwele, and I forgot how much I loved him,
Hmm.
and how oddly people don't speak of him.
Right?
Uh, he was very impactful to shaping the sound, the soul sound, the hybrid between hip hop and soul.
Hmm.
Um, I was listening to Roy Hargrove. People forgot about him,
Mm.
and the RH Factor. Those albums were stellar. Uh, but I listen to newer things. I like to hear the newer progressions of soul. I really like Moonshadow.
Mm.
Moonchild, not Moonshadow. Moonshadow's the restaurant. Moonchild, um, with Amber Raspberry, with her sweet tones. I mean, I like so many different kinds of music. It would be hard for me to list it all.
Yeah.
You know,
So what's coming up new for you? What you have going on?
I'm working on doing some EPs for myself.
Okay.
Uh, some modernization of some of the vintage tracks that got me on the international scene, and just seeing if I can create some modern sexiness for people. Fits
That'd
in.
be dope. That would be real
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.
So normally I get my guests to at this point in the interview, I get them to manifest something
Hmm.
from the universe. And I'll give you an opportunity to do that. But before I go there, I just want to tell you thank you for your time and your energy because you didn't have to do this. And I've been wanting to interview you for quite some time, so I'm glad that we had this time to
No, no
wrap a
problem.
little bit.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And I'm going to give the floor to you for a manifestation, and then I'll let you go.
I don't really have a manifestation. Um, But what I do have is a wish and a hope for people to feel better,
Mm,
whatever that is. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to be one of those internet gurus that say I clicked my heels 3 times and drank some colloidal silver and I have all the answers.
yeah.
I just sincerely want people to feel better because I think we are deeply injured from the pandemic
Hmm.
as a
I agree.
species. As a species, humans are really damaged, and I would like to see people feel better because I remember how life felt when there wasn't as much stress and anxiety, and it was
Yeah.
better. And I want to do my part to help with that. That's my only manifestation is that I'm healthy enough to continue to bring joy to people's lives.
Yeah. Well, I will say with your talent and your gifts and your doctor's tools, which are your ones and your twos and your speakers and your levels, I think you bring that to us whenever we hear your music or attend one of your functions. And I will honestly say, like I said, I used to be a dancer and I've traveled around and I've been in so many different dance halls, clubs, whatever. Your parties are a vibe, and
Yeah,
you definitely get caught up in whatever energy is in the room as you deliver those songs to us, especially if you're a dancing person. And I don't see how anyone can come to any of your events and not dance. You will get caught up in the spirit of what is being delivered in that hall.
we need more dancers on the dance floor.
Yes. What is up with that? Because you've had a bird's eye view of the floor, from
Yeah.
the eagle's nest. And over the years, I'm sure you've seen the vibe change into people just standing around to the point which was sacrilegious back in the day, but standing on the dance floor on your phone, not participating what the floor was meant for. From a dancer's point of view, that's blasphemous. You don't stand on the dance floor and not get active.
From a DJ's point of view, it's blasphemous too. But I think the thing that changed is a lot of people are getting gigs based on videos.
Mm,
So they kind of from an ego point of view wanted the publicity.
mm,
Um, and the music isn't very danceable, to be
mm,
honest. The newer music, the trap era had a certain movement to it, but I don't know what I would call that dance per se. It's really like they're rapping the slow songs. Those are slow records.
mm-hmm.
For the trap era is really a bunch of slow songs. It's like Teddy Riley and uh um not Teddy Riley, Jodeci. They're rapping the Jodeci records. and
Yeah.
and Timberland ballads, right? Somehow there's a hip hop culture based out of Timberland ballads for 20 years, and black music has not been above 110 BPMs until K Tronada came out. If you
Mm,
think about it, where
wow.
that was always black music, 110 and
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
always. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Shaka Khan, uh, all the Teddy Riley stuff, the New Jack Swing, early hip hop, Big Daddy Kane, Eric B, Queen Latifah. We could go down and 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 list.
Yeah.
It was danceable, and suddenly it stopped being danceable outside of those TikToky dances or whatever, which that also is a factor too, because I think people are more comfortable in front of their cameras than they are out in public.
That part.
Um, yeah. So
And do
there's
artists
that.
even go in anymore with an attempt to make a club song? Because that used to be a thing. Like artists would go in like, "Oh, I want this to be my club song. This is going to be the one that gets people up," and like everything about that recording would be designed for the club experience. Do artists even do that now?
I think today's artists are basically following each other. whatever they're doing, they'll do. You know, like
Mm,
when Kaytranada first popped, suddenly you see them all trying to do a Kaytranada sounding thing, right?
mm.
Or if reggaeton is popping, everybody wants to do a reggaeton thing. Now, I'm a piano is popping. Now, everybody wants to do an I'm a piano thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because it's great, but it's not coming from a space of I want to do an up tempo track. It's coming from I want to be able to be in the mix with a I'm a piano track.
Hmm.
See the difference?
Yeah. So
There's a
which basically
difference.
they're basically following the trend and following the money.
They're
Whatever
following
is
the trend.
popular.
Exactly. So some people are going to hit a jackpot, but other people are going to be like, oh, that just sounds like so and so on a I'm a piano beat.
Hmm.
You know, instead of absorbing the greatness from those musicians down in South Africa and letting that teach you and then reinterpreting what that is to let it be your thing, you just go and just jack it
Right.
just to be in the mix. So that sort of that's to me that kind of bastardizes some of these genres a little bit, and it feels inauthentic. So it's not coming from you and your homies. It's just a
True.
replay. You know what I mean? So I mean that's just my opinion, because there are some forms of music that have never really changed. House music hasn't really changed much since the 90s.
Hmm.
It's very homogenized. The only thing that might change is it gets a little louder and clearer. Or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not like it's been innovative in the past 10 years or more. Um, so I don't want to be too hard on people who are using templates to create, but I do think that you're also losing dancers and party people to be stars. They want to be the DJs. They, the beautiful woman who used to kick the party off is now the DJ.
Wow.
And, and all her girlfriends want to be the DJ. So who's in front of you? A bunch of dudes with cameras. Bad mix.
Very true.
That's
Very
a
true.
bad mix because everybody's looking at the beautiful girls with the amazing outfits playing
Hmm.
the records, and there's no women in the audience in
Yeah.
some cases. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of different things happening. You know what I mean? There are way more DJs. There are way less people who are comfortable feeling and being alive in public. They're still shy. I think they're still damaged from the things that have happened in the past 5 or 6 years. So we have some healing to do. I do think that they want to come back, though. They want it.
And you know what else disappeared? The
What's
the
that?
the 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 opticals of people dancing and enjoying certain type of music. We don't have any dance shows on anymore, so people aren't actually seeing people dance to a party music song. Like I remember when we were younger, there was the dancing on airs or dance
Soul
fever.
Train.
So that
Soul.
yes,
Yeah.
bandstand, all of, even the corny ones. You had an optical um, template to see, okay, this is what you should be dancing to. This is what people are finding hot. This is how you should move. This is the latest dance. This move goes with this song on this part because this is what's hot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's it. But
Yeah.
look, other places are still dancing. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know too many Latinos that don't dance.
I know a couple Latino clubs in Philly I've been to, and it's like old times. It's like you walk out sweaty, clothes are
Yeah.
sticking to you. It's still that vibe.
I don't know too many I don't know too many hippie white people that don't dance. They'll get up to some house music and party. You'll be at an art gallery somewhere in Venice, a random art gallery, and suddenly
Hmm.
it's a club, just like it used to be in Philly, downtown
Hmm.
Philly, or anywhere in Soho, New York. You know, Joe's Pub. That's a restaurant. It used
Yeah.
to be popping, right? Somewhere, some groups of people have forgotten to move. They've forgotten that you can move, and that's really fascinating to
Yeah.
see. you know. And I don't have the answers to it. Or no, I'll say this: they can't move unless they know the song.
Yeah, that's a little weird. That's a little weird to me.
They have got to know the song. If they don't know the song, you would think you were pouring poison down their throats. They're
Mm.
disgusted, like, wow, until they hear the song, they know. This is amazing.
It was so bad. Like I often think about yesteryear and today, and I kind of go back to when I was on the dance scene, and I was thinking, I wish they had a Shazam out, like the app Shazam out when I was like club hopping back then, because I would be dancing to a lot of songs I didn't even know and would never even hear again, but wanted to have it. And it was an experience so deep that I would think about, to this day, I still think about certain songs. I have no idea what the names of them were, but I would like to have it in my rotation because it moved me. I still
Yeah,
remember the beats. I still remember how it went. If I heard it now, and I would know it was that song that I had that experience off of, but I don't know what it is. I kind of miss that a
yes.
little bit.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of DJs and a lot used to take pride in exposing you to things, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk about the early Kiss and Grind days. A lot of people that see me now, that was one of the things that, in a weird way, Insecure messed it up.
Mm,
And it's like it's almost like people were so locked into the history of it, like their little golden toy, that it was theirs. The people that knew that when
mm-hmm,
Insecure put us on, it's like, oh, I can't touch it anymore. It's corrupted.
mm,
And it also shows that a mainstream person who's never been to an underground party really struggles in an underground party
mm.
for a lot of reasons. The music is unfamiliar. The way people socialize is unfamiliar. It's not about pretentious vibes. It's not about what you have or what you don't have. It's
Yep,
about just coming in there naked in a way, right?
yep.
So the mainstream people versus the underground people was a culture clash.
Mm.
And the underground people were like, "Yo, we had 15 years. We're good. We let them have it now." Oh, he's up in here. That was
Hmm.
sort of the energy. And
Yeah,
again, but I'm always learning. And as times change, you have people who really get out of the club years relatively quickly. In LA, they go a long time. They go way longer than most places. LA
really.
people party. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Europeans never stop partying. They'll be clubbing until they die. Right. That's a big part of their culture. But in the States, we look at 40. People start looking at you funny. Why are you going
Yeah.
out? 40, right? 45. What's wrong with you? You start hearing that. Right.
Uh,
50, you clearly out to chase young girls, or if you're a woman, you're on your second marriage, whatever it is. All the stereotypes start popping up as to why you're out.
right,
Instead of you just like music or you want to be out, you want to feel
right.
good. It's all these things that are said about you to make you feel bad, so you can hurry up and die, I guess. Uh, but there definitely was a difference in energy as the mainstream folks came in with the soul folks, for sure.
Yeah. I said just the other day, I could stand to go somewhere and, sweat some stress off. There's nowhere to go. I have no place to.
Where are you now?
I'm still in the tri-state area. I'm still there. But I
Okay.
travel. I mean, I don't mind, going, to another place. I think the last time that I actually, probably in Atlanta, maybe, was the last time that I actually went to an actual party and actually danced and was satisfied with,
Yeah,
the night or the evening. It's
yeah,
been a long time. And when I say that, and I mean going to a place where people are actually participating in what everyone is there for. Not, you
Yes.
go to a place and maybe you have a handful of people just dancing. Because I'm good for being the only one on the floor. I don't mind. But that's not the experience that I want. I want the whole room to be a vibe.
Well, that's one of the things that I love as a DJ over the years, is the people that don't need alcohol, don't need anything but a good sound system and come in and
Hmm.
start moving. Then I can
Hmm.
shape a night around, I can literally build a night around three people.
Mm.
Three people can make 500 have a good time
Mm.
because they always are kind of like, well, if they feel good, I must feel good, or they break the ice. I even back in the day, I know they used to hire dancers to get the party started. They call them
True.
party starters.
Hmm.
You know, we probably have to bring that back to a degree as well. Like, you're only here to move, not just be cute, but to get the people moving and make them relax and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's probably what we do. Some of the old tricks, like I think there's a little bit of a misconception that things just kind of happened before. They didn't just happen. We were taught how to be, and then it just kind of was a downhill progression from there. You know what I mean? Like it was interesting how curated things really were behind the scenes back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Duplaix, I thank you for your education, your inspiration, and your time. Um,
Late night.
well, it is late. It's late for you, but it's even later for me. It's so late, it's the next day. Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted to make this happen, so I appreciate you. Tell people where they can follow you and keep up with you.
Follow me on all socials, Victor Duplaix, VikterDuplaix. And you can peep Kiss and Grind, KISSNGRIND, and my new thing, Velvet, VELVET .nights.LA. All right.
Thank you, sir. And
Thank,
um, whenever you're back over here on the east side, um, I'd like to connect with you. I hope you're doing something and I can come to the event.
I hope you find something that's pretty fly. You can't be in the city with no vibes. Come on, I don't believe that. I'm gonna have to find something for you.
Please do. Please do.
You're gonna have you're gonna have to go down to Frankfurt.
And that's fine. I don't mind. Listen, I remember back in the day going up to New York and went into a hole in the wall. It was literally a hole in a concrete wall that someone was standing there as the bouncer, and it was a space that they put together for people to get off on. And I one of the best house music sets I've ever heard in my life. I can't even remember where this place was. It was so underground.
Did you go to Meatpacking District when meat used to be on the street?
Yes, come out in that
Meat,
stinky smell, sweaty and stinky.
man, meat and rats the size of dogs would meet you after you came out of Cielo. What the
Amen.
hell? Or
Amen.
APT with Rich. You go visit Rich and come out of there, you got to fight a big rat dog. a,
That is so
a
true.
big dog-sized rat sitting at your car. Like, are
It's
you
either
getting in?
that or I would go down to DC and like in their warehouse district and you have to park your car in a shady area because you just wanted to go to the club so bad, but was hoping your car was still there when you came out.
Oh man, that's legendary DC. That's chapter 3 in East Side Club days. Yeah. When they close the doors. Yo, they shooting.
So
All
true.
right.
But you would have the best club experience.
The best. The
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Those were the best times for sure. I'm glad we survived.
Amen. And we're gonna still survive. And I'm gonna help spread your message about you want people to feel better. That's kind of sort of why I do what I do. It's as far as sharing inspiration and entertainment with people. Want them to feel better. A little education, learn something.
That's really what we want. We want to
Yep.
evolve. We have to evolve. That's the only way we're going to get out of this weird spot
Yep.
is evolution.
Amen. All right, brother. Thank you
All right,
for the conversation.
appreciate the time.
All right. Bye.
Peace.